Okay, I just left off with number 5 and now I'm going to do number 6. We are going to locate the variable again. I'll highlight that. And then step number 2 is to write down the different operations that you see with the highlighted part. So on the right-hand side, I have multiplication and I have subtraction. Step 3 is to undo those. So I undo subtraction by adding and I undo multiplication by division. If you try to undo the multiplication, divide by 3 on both sides, it ends up creating more of a mess. So it's okay if you end up doing something wrong because then you can just try the other operation. So we're going to undo the subtraction first by adding z to both sides. It is true that it creates a lot on the left-hand side because there is nothing that we can add together because those are all unlike terms. I'm close to finishing this now. I've taken care of getting rid of the subtraction. Now I'll get rid of the multiplication by dividing by 3 on both sides. That gives me my final answer. Even though it looks messy, that is my final answer. I don't know what y or z is, so I can't take it any further. The next one is actually a multiple choice question. I wanted to go ahead and do this for practice on what happens in the end. We'll get into that as we go through the problem. So I am supposed to solve for p, so I will go through and highlight that. Step 2, write down the operations that occur on the left-hand side where the p is. At first glance, we notice we have subtraction and we have multiplication. Now, we have to be really careful on this. This hasn't happened to us before. If I really think about undoing the subtraction, I would be adding m to both sides. That would not get rid of m. Really what we have here, if I change my signs to plus the opposite, is I really have an addition. So this operation happens to actually be addition. And the way I undo the addition is by using subtraction. And I can undo the division or the multiplication by dividing. So I'll go ahead and undo this addition by subtracting my m on both sides. That gives me negative hp equals d minus m. That takes care of the addition and subtraction, so now I'm just going to get rid of the multiplication. I can do that by dividing by the negative h on both sides. That gives me my answer of p equals d minus m all over negative h. If you look at the answer choices, there is none like that. All of the ones that have fractions all have a positive h on the bottom. So the question now becomes, what do we do to make this a positive h on the bottom? Well, if we have a negative on the bottom and we are now making it a positive, really what we need to do is we need to change each of the signs on the top. So on the numerator, I'm going to change my d to be now a negative d. Before I had positive d divided by negative h. Now I have negative d divided by h, and that is fine. I still have a negative d over h. Then what I have here is I have a negative m over a negative h, and what I'm actually going to do is change that to a positive m, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. The last thing I'm going to do to make it look like one of the multiple choice answers is flip-flop the m and the d around. So it now reads m minus d instead of negative d plus m. This does match to choice B.